Imagine hurtling down a track at over 200 miles per hour, inches away from other cars, all vying for the top spot. The roar of the engines, the rush of the wind, the thrill of the race. But in the blink of an eye, everything can change. From fiery crashes to fatal collisions, the sport has experienced some accidents that have left a lasting impact on the sport and its fans. So stay tuned as we take a look at the most deadly accidents in the history of Formula One. 1. Koenig at the 1974 United States Grand Prix. The 1974 United States Grand Prix at Watkins Glen was shaping up to be a classic battle between Formula One's biggest stars. The legendary Niki Lauda, who had won the championship the previous year, was locked in a tense championship battle with his Ferrari teammate Clay Regazzoni. The two drivers had been trading wins all season and were separated by just a handful of points heading into the race. The race itself was filled with drama and excitement. On the 7th lap, as the drivers were battling for position, tragedy struck. Helmuth Koenig, an up-and-coming Austrian driver, lost control of his car, pitching it head-on into the Armco barrier. The speed at which Koenig crashed was relatively low, and he ought to escape the accident uninjured. However, as with a number of other circuits at that time, the Armco was insecurely installed, and the bottom portion of it buckled as the vehicle struck it. The car passed underneath the top portion, which remained intact, decapitating Koenig and killing him instantly. Koenig died from his injuries, and the race was immediately red flagged. The drivers were in shock, and the accident cast a dark shadow over the remainder of the race. Lauda, who was leading in the race at the time, eventually went on to win, but the victory was bittersweet. Koenig's death had an impact on the development of Formula One cars. The accident led to the development of new car suspension and wheel retention technologies, which have made Formula One cars much safer in the decades since the accident. Koenig's death marked one of the last fatalities in Formula One until the 1994 death of Ayrton Senna, which prompted even more safety improvements in the sport. 2. Ayrton Senna at the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. Ayrton Senna, a legendary figure in the world of Formula One racing, met a tragic end at the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. He was considered one of the greatest drivers of all time, with unparalleled skill and unquenchable competitive spirit. He had already won 3 World Championships, 41 Grand Prix and 65 pole positions. The fateful accident occurred on the 7th lap of the race on the Imola circuit in Italy. Senna's car, a Williams Renault FW16, was travelling at high speed as it approached a tight left-hand turn. Suddenly, the steering column of his car failed, causing the steering wheel to come loose in his hand, and without control of the car, Senna could not navigate the turn and went off the track at full speed. His car hit a concrete wall with tremendous force, the front wheel was torn off, and the car was sent hurtling into the air. As Senna's car crashed back onto the track, a suspension arm broke off and struck him in the head with devastating force. The impact caused a skull fracture and severe brain injuries. Despite the best efforts of the medical team, who worked to extricate him from the car and stabilize him at the scene, Senna died later that day in a nearby hospital. Senna was not only a celebrated driver, but also a generous philanthropist and a respected leader in the sport. He donated millions of dollars to children's hospitals and other charitable organizations throughout his career. Senna's legacy lives on, not only in the record books, but also in the hearts of the countless fans who continue to be inspired by his incredible talent and indomitable spirit. 3. Jochen Rindt at the 1970 Italian Grand Prix. Jochen Rindt was a German-Austrian Formula One driver who raced in the 1960s and 1970s. He was known for his aggressive driving style and fearless racing approach. He began his career in touring cars and sports cars, but it was clear from the start that he was destined for greatness. In 1964, Rindt made the leap to Formula One and quickly established himself as one of the top drivers on the circuit. He had a string of impressive performances, and in 1970, he finally achieved the ultimate goal of any Formula One driver, winning a race. That year, Rindt was locked in a fierce battle for the World Drivers' Championship with his rivals, but tragedy struck at the Italian Grand Prix during the practice session. Rindt's car suffered a brake failure and he crashed into a barrier at high speed. He was pronounced dead at the hospital, leaving the world of motorsport in shock. Despite his untimely death, Rindt's points total was enough to secure him the World Drivers' Championship, making him the first and only posthumous Formula One World Champion in the history of the sport. His death was a major loss for Formula One, and his passing was deeply felt by fans and drivers alike. Jackie Stewart later revealed that Rindt was going to retire at the end of the season if he won the title. Sadly, Rindt never had the chance to retire and spend time with his wife, who he missed so much when racing. Jochen Rindt was a champion driver, and had he not been killed and had he continued, which is doubtful, he would have gone on to win more titles. He doesn't get recognised as much as he should. He enjoyed the sport and was an excellent sportsman. 4. Gilles Villeneuve at the 1982 Belgium Grand Prix. Gilles Villeneuve was a true racing legend, a charismatic and fearless driver who left a lasting impact on the sport of Formula One. He was known for his aggressive driving style and his ability to push his car to the limit, earning him the nickname the Canadian Wildman. On May 8, 1982, Villeneuve was participating in qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix at the Zolder circuit in Belgium. He was determined to secure a spot on the front row of the grid and was pushing his Ferrari 126C2 to the limit. As he approached the final corner of his fast lap, disaster struck. Jochen Mass, another driver on the track, had slowed down unexpectedly on the racing line and didn't signal his intentions. Villeneuve had no time to react and collided with the back of Mass's car, launching his Ferrari into the air. The car then hit the ground and skidded into the catch fencing, disintegrating on impact. Villeneuve died instantly. The accident was a huge blow to the Formula One community. The accident had a profound impact on the Ferrari team. The team withdrew from the race and didn't compete again until the next race in Monaco. The team and its drivers took a long time to recover from the loss of Villeneuve, who was considered a fan favourite and one of the best drivers of his generation. 5. Jules Bianchi at the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix. Jules Bianchi was a rising star in the world of Formula One racing, known for his skill and determination on the track. But his promising career was cut tragically short in 2014 when he suffered a devastating accident at the Japanese Grand Prix. The race was held in heavy rain and the track was slick and treacherous. On lap 42, Bianchi's Marussia car aquaplaned off the track and he collided with a recovery tractor that was removing another car that had crashed on the same spot. The impact was brutal and Bianchi sustained a severe head injury. He underwent emergency surgery and was placed into an induced coma and remained comatose until his death on 17th of July 2015. The crash sent shockwaves through the Formula One community, and many teams and organisations worked to improve the safety of their vehicles and tracks. The FIA, the governing body of Formula One, introduced new regulations for the use of the virtual safety car, which is used to slow down the cars on the track in the event of a crash or other incident. The FIA also made changes to the medical car response, including the use of a medical helicopter to transport injured drivers from the track to the hospital. A number of tributes were also made to Bianchi by the Formula One community, including the creation of the Jules Bianchi Trophy, which is awarded to the best rookie driver of the season. Which other deadly accidents have you seen since you started watching F1? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Now, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified of our next uploads. Thank you for watching and we'll see you again soon.